Coming up on this edition of Locked On Utes, what's the latest and greatest thing that BYU has done that Utah can try and copy and try and find success in following Big Brother's footsteps? Let's dig into it.
You are Locked On Utes, your daily podcast on the Utah Utes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy April Fools, Utah fans. I can promise you we are not going to be talking about any of the foolish statements Jake Hatch just mentioned, and instead we are going to be discussing Utah just landed their first commitment in the class of 2026. What will he bring to the Utah football program? We're going to tell you on today's Locked On Utes. Hello, everyone, and thank you for making Locked On Utes your first listen and view of the day. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, available wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. If it's your first time listening to our show, make sure you like and subscribe. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege, all caps, no spaces, for $20 off your first purchase. My name is JT Wistrcill, former intern inside the University of Utah Athletic Department. Excited to be joined on today's show by Philip, the WildUte. Philip, we got some Utah recruiting news to talk about too. Utah landed their first commit in the class of 2026, and I don't think it will be long till he's joined by some other players that Utah's interested in, but I do want to start with that first commitment that Utah landed, and it's a tight end, which shouldn't be a huge surprise based on Utah's history with tight ends, but Colby Simpson is coming to Utah, 3-star tight end, 6'5", 222 pounds, and what's fascinating about Simpson was he wasn't even supposed to be done with his visits when he committed.
Right.
He was supposed to visit Mississippi State April 5th, and Minnesota on April 12th. I do not, and I will say, sometimes guys commit and then take those visits, so maybe he still will. But I also know this. He visited with BYU the day before on March 28th, came to Utah March 29th. Here we are recording this on March 30th. He committed. So this is huge for Utah to land their first commitment, and we'll talk more about the talent in a moment, but nice to land the first guy, and I do think it's a guy with a chance to be a really good player.
Yeah, Colby, he had visits with Illinois, Notre Dame, BYU right before Utah, and committed right basically next day after the visit. That's massive news for the Utah Utes because we need more tight end depth, and we need players at tight end too. We've got Landon King, who's going to be a stud this year and stuff, but we need to refill this room and everything. And I can't wait to break his actually talents down because very unique skill set he has.
He does have a unique skill set, and he had a ton of offers too, which you just hinted at as well. Utah able to beat out the likes of some SEC teams, some Big Ten teams too for him. So, and Notre Dame, one of the top brands in the sport too. So a massive get for Utah. So what is Utah actually getting in Simpson? They're getting a physical blocker, a guy with a good motor, keeps his hands inside. The leg drive is the one, Philip, I think that might be my favorite thing about him is how he finishes blocks. I love that he blocked through the whistle. He will drive guys 10 yards downfield. I do feel like he needs to continue to improve his route running and grow his overall route tree, but the athleticism is there, and I could totally see how first of all, junior, so give him the time senior year. He's obviously working on these things too, and I think this guy will continue to grow in his route running, but he's a guy that's tough, willing to catch balls over the middle, and even if he knows he's going to get hit, the blocking's the biggest thing that appeals to me right now and says, okay, this is a Utah tight end, and I think the rest of his game will get there too.
This guy is a Cole Fotheringham clone.
Love it.
If you want an like a player comp, it's Cole. Like that's exactly how his game's played and everything. He is a blocking extraordinaire, like you're saying, JT, and he specializes in run blocking. His run blocking is extremely good. And like the thing about Colby too is his frame. He's got a great frame for a tight end. He's going to add more weight and everything. He's going to be a blocking freaking machine. If you watch his tape, this guy, one of the special features too about Colby Simpson is that he on special teams, he'll block like Buku. Like you kind of remember the old white rhino, Logan Kindle? And like when you just block and smash people and everything. Man, this guy, especially on special teams, he'll lock people down and take them out too. He's aggressive. He's a Big Ten tight end, guys. Really Big Ten-esque. That's why Illinois wanted him so bad. So many Big Ten teams wanted. He's a prototype kind of
Notre Dame, another tight end.
Yeah, exactly. Notre Dame, like a Notre Dame visit and stuff. So, I mean, we're talking, this is like a Big Ten type of body for tight end, which is always what you want in a good elite blocking tight end too. So I'm really optimistic about him. Again, you mentioned it before, 6'5", 222, 230 range. Get that weight up and stuff, and he's going to be a beast for the Utes.
He is going to be a beast, and I'm glad. Like I love the Cole Fotheringham comp. I absolutely see that when I turn on the tape with him. So really excited about what he can do, and did catch some balls still. Don't want to make it sound like that. He ran a lot of out routes, but that's where he does remind us a lot of Cole Fotheringham. Right now, he's more of a guy like, hey, he can run a route and get open, but he is not Dalton Kincaid in terms of route running. He is Cole Fotheringham, a guy who can do some things for you in the pass game, but you love him because of his ability to throw guys around. And that's a position I do feel like I don't feel like Utah's replaced Logan Kendall. They went from Cole Fotheringham to Logan Kendall. Since it's been, where is that elite blocking tight end? They tried to make Mickey Sugaturaga from a defensive end into a tight end. Never really materialized. Dolan Bentley even. I liked him. I think Dallin did some good things. Wasn't an elite blocking tight end. Utah's tight ends struggled to block. So this is a position that I definitely feel like we need to see Utah bring back into the fold. And I'm hoping, and we've heard Devin Dam, this offense doesn't use tight ends as much, but I still feel like we want Utah smash football. A guy like Simpson can help Utah get back to that.
100%, like with the change in offensive philosophy too. I mean, this is exactly what the doctor ordered. You need a blocking tight ends that are blocking extraordinaires. And like, hey, he's going to get better at receiving. It's not his strength at the moment and everything, but his route running and receiving will get there. But this is really what Devin Dampier needs. Somebody that can protect in the future and the future Ute quarterback room stuff. So I like it. Is exactly, again, like what the doctor ordered, because the tight ends in the future are not going to be likely receiving as much as they have in the past. Of Andy Ludwig, you've alluded to it. It's more of a spread-based system. You're going to hit the wide receivers, the running backs more, and less the tight ends and everything. So this is going to fit the new age of offense under Jason Beck. And
it's nice to land a commit in the class of 2026. But I'd love it if Utah could continue to pick up steam. And one of the guys I want to see them add is Braylon Edwards. Edwards, a 4-star defensive back out of Duncanville High School. So playing in Texas, Duncanville, that's one of the top high school teams you're going to find in Texas. 6 foot, 187 pound, an Army All-American. And this is another guy. He's got a Utah visit coming up June 7th through the 9th. He's going to see Auburn, Wisconsin, Razorbacks, Vandy, Texas Tech, and we know about their NIL now too. But this is a guy in Edwards that I think would be a fantastic. When I turn on the tape, I see Utah defensive back.
Who does he remind you of?
Who does he remind me of?
He has whiffs notes of a great Ute cornerback over the last 10 years.
Okay, I will say it's early, but I saw a couple plays from him. I'd want to check the height. I saw signs of Jalen Johnson. Maybe that's a little lofty. That's what you do. Yeah.
100%. Okay, look, Braylon, we don't know if he's going to be anywhere near the player that Jalen is. Jalen's one of the best players in the NFL. Like, let's just be honest about that. But the way his smooth nature, the way that he plays the game smells of a Jalen Johnson. Really, like, he plays fluid, again, smooth. He's got swagger. He is a lockdown outside cornerback and everything. So, I mean, really, what Utes do, he's a man press kind of quarterback, cornerback too. But really, he's got the talent to be a really good cornerback in the Big 12. And again, Jalen Johnson, similar there. He'd be a huge gift for the Utes. He's got 40-plus offers.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest here. Like, 40-plus offers of many SEC, Big 10, ACC offers, Big 12 offers. He'd be a very good gem of a recruit to bring in. He smells of Utah. He'd be a great Ute. Can we land him? Can we finish the deal? Let's hope so.
I think the reason Utah gets his visit is because of their history with guys like Jalen Johnson, like Clark Phillips, Smith Snowden, soon to join those ranks of, hey, you may not have the same, like I said, we don't know about the NIL and everything, but you may not be one of the top programs in college football, not one of the top SEC Big 10 teams, but know how good you do developing defensive backs, and you do have a proven track record of winning. I know Utah lost some defensive backs in the transfer portal here recently, but I still trust Sharif Shaw, Morgan Scalley. They're heck of coaches, and I think they could absolutely get the best out of Edwards. And you even mentioned the Jalen Johnson thing. We are talking about college Jalen Johnson that went in the second round. We're not talking about best corner in the NFL, right. Jalen Johnson too, which he's morphed into it. It's been incredible to watch Jalen do that, but if he was expected, I think, be as good as he was now, he'd go much higher in a redraft too. And it'll be interesting to see with Edwards when he comes out to Salt Lake City, how high he could, if he comes to Salt Lake City, I should say, trying to speak it into existence, how high he could end up going. So we're just getting started talking about Edwards' game. There's a couple other recruits that Utah should have their eye on too. We're going to tell you about them in one moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Utes is brought to you by our friends at Monarch Money. When you're talking about Monarch Money, you are talking about a place that helps you check your bank account and save. Because I don't know about you guys, but I've checked my account and I wonder all the time, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. Your personal CFO gives you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you can just stop managing your money and start building wealth. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery. Now I budget smarter and save more. It's also that all-in-one convenience. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. You can use code LOCKEDONCollege, it's all caps, no spaces, at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCollege, all caps, no spaces, for half off your first year. Make sure you head over to check out Monarch Money to start saving more today. Today's episode of Locked On Utes is also brought to you by Game Time. Imagine watching your favorite team live, feeling the energy of the crowd and witnessing unforgettable moments. There's nothing like experiencing a big game in person. And that's where getting tickets shouldn't be stressful for those moments and feelings. That's where Game Time comes in, making it easier than ever to grab last-minute seats at unbeatable prices. Game Picks is a curation that makes it even easier to find the better value for your tickets to sports, concert, comedy, and theater events and near you. Also, that easy ticket shopping. I just checked the Game Time app, and there are amazing deals on some huge matchups coming up. Super deals, the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. There's also that peace of mind. With the seat view before you buy, no surprise fees, and a low price guarantee, you can book with total confidence. How about that? No surprise fees. How many times have you used a ticketing app and found those surprise fees at the end? Game Time doesn't offer that. Instead, they even offer you a view of your seat so you know what kind of a deal you're going to get. You can take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off your first purchase. That's Locked On College for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets where the lowest price is guaranteed with Game Time today. Philip, we didn't really get to finish talking about what makes Edwards special. Why does he remind us of Jalen Johnson? Well, first of all, this is a guy, his high school team trusts him completely. Anytime I turn on a tape, if you're a corner, and I see your high school team throws you on an island, I'm like, okay, this guy's a baller. And he absolutely is, too. We were talking about him, got quick feet, elite route recognition. He can close on quick slants, extremely fast. He also has the athleticism of there are things in his tape I watch and I'm like, okay, like you're not in your stance. I don't know if that's being lazy or just if you think something's going to come, he'll get beat. He has the athleticism to get back there at time and knock the pass away too. So the fact that he has that, he times those pass breakups with his hands incredibly well too. Someone who's not very grabby, patient, and just physical versus the run too. He has a couple of really nice tackles on his tape, which I always love to see too. And you mentioned it as well, Philip, this is a guy, he will get in your face and play off coverage too. He's very versatile. Utah asked their corners to be one-on-one on an island a lot too with how much pressure they blitz. Edwards is absolutely a guy who can hold up.
Duncanville, Texas, that's Jaquindon Jackson School.
That's right.
Seriously. So really, we're talking about really an elite Texas high school playing at that and being the stud cornerback. Let's look at 5 things here with Braylon Edwards here. Number 1, he is a true blanket corner. Number 1 corner. Outside, he's aggressive, like you mentioned. He's uber talented with his fluidity and his playmaking. And then also speed-wise, solid speed. He's got it all. He's really – it's shocking, really, right now if you look at 24/7, he's a 3-star player. There's some – I mean, he himself is saying that he perhaps is a 4-star.
4-star, yeah. So he
looks like a 4-star.
He does. I agree.
Right. So, I mean, he is an uber talented player. When you got 40-plus offers, though, and like a lot of, Big Ten, SEC offers, like, you're talking about an elite football player here. So be a great snag for the Utes and stuff. And we desperately need them. We're talking about 2026. We're losing cornerbacks likely, after this 2025 year. I mean, Elijah Davis is going to be graduating. We'll see what Snowden happens. I mean, he might go pro. And so we absolutely need talent in 2026. This guy could be the foundation of it.
I think Blake Cotton's out of eligibility after this year, too.
That's right.
Could be wrong. I really don't like to say anyone has eligibility. I mean, Hunter Erickson has another basketball season. I called his games when I was at Salt Lake Community College like 2 years ago now, and it was after he was at BYU even. So I was surprised that would have said at least, but like that's just the era of college sports that we're in. But we totally agree. Utah needs more talented players in the class of 2026. So let's talk about another one. And Philip, when I played football, I played in the trenches, so I am extremely biased to linemen, and I love Dominic Harris's film. 6'8", 325, and 86-inch wingspan. This guy is a road grader. I'll talk about what I love about him, but Philip, I am curious. You've had comparisons for the last two guys. Is there someone he reminds you of?
A giant bear. Seriously, you said it, JT. Is 6'8", 335. Yeah. He's going to put on more weight. He's giant.
Yeah.
He's freaking giant coming out of Las Vegas.
How about I'll add to that, too. You said giant bear. How about dancing bear? I mean, I think he's 6'7", 335. I think he could definitely work on his athleticism still, but he moves really well at the high school game right now.
Oh, he does. And like, he's a shot put player, discus player.
Yeah.
He's a track and field guy with strength. This guy is so strong. He's Paul Bunyan. He's a bear. Like, seriously, he's unlike probably anything that's currently on Utah's roster on the offensive line. He would be a really good fit if you land a recruit like Dom Harris. He goes by this name, Dom. I love it. Dom Harris just sounds like a Ute offensive lineman. Yes. It's going to be an absolute road grader. But a high 3-star right now, 88 grade on the 24/7 composite. He could boost up to even a 4-star. He has that type of size. Gotcha. This is an NFL frame. We're talking about 18-plus offers, a lot from the Big Ten and the SEC. So we're talking about more talented players that the so-called Power 2 want and everything. And this guy is really – he's a lot to bring. What position is he going to play? Right now he's playing tackle. Based on foot speed, watching the tape and everything, it looks like he might be a transition into guard or even maybe a center, probably a guard. But he's going to be an absolute mean guard. He's a beast. When he gets his hands on you, you're not going anywhere. He blocks you into oblivion, pancakes. I love this player, Dom Harris.
I totally agree with the guard thing you mentioned as well. I see more of a guard at the next level. Still got time. Another guy that's only a junior, so we'll see how he grows. But the upcoming visits – Auburn, May 16th, Washington, May 30th, Arizona, June 6th. And I always love when you can be the last visit. Sometimes there's danger in that. We just saw that with Simpson, where he committed early. Minnesota and Mississippi State now have to fight off Utah to get back in there. But you look at what Harris has. He has Utah's last one, which I'm incredibly encouraged about too. And you mentioned some of the things you love about Harris. And I mean, the first thing I had was really strong. Like, how can you not? The good leg drives there. It's something we talked about with Simpson too. We can coach Utah can. They can coach technique. They can coach with you some minute things. They can't put in you, finish a play, finish a block, go through the whistle. That's hard. You can't really coach hard. So the fact that you see that in Harris right away has me incredibly excited. You mentioned the way he just plants guys down the field. I absolutely love that too. He's willing to finish blocks, does well in space right now. And I still think he does well based on the competition he's playing. I see potential to be a better pulling guard, especially he's probably good. We'll see what he ends up weighing at the collegiate level. But like either way, he's going to be a great train as a puller. He would absolutely be able to widen holes. For people who don't think a guy that big in terms of his height and weight as well could play a guard, Mekhi Becton, with what he did for the Philadelphia Eagles this last season, he would widen holes by so much because he could literally blast the linebacker or DN just even an extra yard or two. And that can be everything when you're talking about a running back. So solid puller, he's going to work on the athleticism, but a road grader, powerful, loves pancakes, does a pretty good job in pass protection too. He's continued to work on sliding those feet, I think, against the best like collegiate rushers at the next level. But for what I saw in his high school tape, he looked really impressive, Philip. And I would love if this guy could be a Ute.
Giant, strong, pro frame. Remember that. That's exactly who Dom Harris is. Giant, strong.
Yeah, he is. And he's got a chance to be a game wrecker at the next level and a road grader along the offensive line. So those are the guys in 2026. But Philip, there's one other guy. I'm probably going to I'll talk more about him in depth later on this week's show, but I want to give you a chance to give your thoughts a little bit. There was a player in the class of 2025. That's right. We're not completely done with 2025. A 6'3" linebacker, third-ranked player in the state that Utah might have a shot at, and they should definitely get back in on as he just decommitted from Stanford. Who am I talking about, Philip?
You're talking about Juice. Nusi Juice. Taumoepeau. I believe that's your last name.
I think you got it right.
We love you, Juice.
What did you see?
88 composite grade for 24/7. In really three-star, borderline 4-star, depending on the sites that you're looking at. He was class of 2025. He was a commit to Stanford. Okay, so he decommitted from Stanford because of Troy Taylor getting fired. Recently,
crazy.
So he is now back on the block and everything. Look, guys, he's a linebacker / D end. I think that he actually is going to be a D end, and he is an absolute beast. Just looking at Juice's tape, he's got the juice. He's an absolute physical punisher, a Ute defensive end / linebacker. What's interesting about him too is he's actually lengthy. He looks kind of wiry, lengthy, but he is an absolute hitmaster too.
Yes, he is.
So like trying to comp him out and everything, this is going to seem a little far reaching. He's at a 6'2" level right now. Juice is. He's not 6'5", but there's a guy that his tape reminded me of, played for USC. His name's Eric Gentry a couple years back. A stud player. He was 6'5", 6'6", Eric Gentry, and he was an absolute terror with his length, but he was wiry. He was a playmaker, and he would hit. And Juice reminds me a little bit of like an Eric Gentry, like a version of that too. So that's what immediately came to mind. Shifty, quick off the edge, disciplined. The disciplined player, athletic, and really the only like critique with his game. I mean, he looks like he can add even more weight on stuff. Improve the play strength. Looking back at high school tape, all these kids are going to improve their play strength and stuff. But it needs Juice needs a little bit more strength, looks like. But I mean, that's a pretty easy correction at the University of Utah.
It is one of the other things you can coach and train guys up to. We go back, talk about that. But the motor is something that is so impressive when you're talking about Juice. So I am really excited that he's back available, and hopefully Utah can cash in. We'll be continuing to monitor and see how that goes, and I'll give more of my thoughts on him, as I mentioned, later in an upcoming show, because that's a fascinating one. But one thing that's upcoming, it literally is today, is spring ball. We get to see another viewing session of practice. So what are they going to get to see? What do we still want to learn about Utah football during the spring portion? We're going to discuss in one moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Utes is brought to you by our friends at Supply House. When you're talking about Supply House, you're talking about something that is totally reliable, because you can get the supplies you need from the site made for skilled trades. Supply House. Whether you're into plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get through the job and get them done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400 plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need, delivered fast from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free trade master program offers exclusive perks like dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, you can use the promo code SH5, 5% off your first order with Supply House. Once again, go to supplyhouse.com/TM and use that SH5 for 5% off your first order at supplyhouse.com today. Today's episode of Locked On Utes is brought to you by Post District. Discover Post District, home to 4 of Salt Lake's newest and most stylish apartment buildings. The Register, Post House North, Post House South, and the 801 Flats. Each residence offers its own unique take on luxury urban living, with features like waterfall, kitchen islands, floor-to-ceiling windows, vaulted ceilings, and spacious patios and walk-in closets. Enjoy premium amenities, including the city's largest residential gym, a year-round pool, golf simulator, massive TV wall for sports watch parties, and more, all anchored by a one-of-a-kind community. Step outside and find yourself immersed in Salt Lake's hottest dining and nightlife scene, with award-winning spots like Urban Hill, Mensho Ramen, Level Crossing, Melancholy Wine Bar, and Sunday's Best just steps away. Whether you're looking for a studio 1, 2, 3, or penthouse or bedroom or penthouse, find your perfect home today. Visit liveatpost.com or call 801-590-6247. Mention this ad for exclusive incentive too. Once again, you can visit liveatpost.com or call 801-590-6247 and make sure you mention this ad for an exclusive incentive. Check out Post District today. The NCAA tournament is winding down, but if you want to see how the Final Four will shake out, you got to check out the Bracket Breakdown.
The NCAA tournament is here, and so is the Bracket Breakdown.
Locked On Podcast Network and Amazon Fire TV channels are teaming up to deliver NCAA tournament coverage like never before. Watch studio shows featuring former players and Locked On's local experts as they guide you through every upset, buzzer beater, and bracket matchup.
Stream it all for free on Amazon Fire TV channel. Search Bracket Breakdown to see it all for free.
It's your team every day.
All right, Philip, as we look ahead to another week of spring ball, for me, I'm trying to think out biggest things I still want to see. I think, honestly, we heard about the competition battles. I want to see and learn a couple weeks in now. I think they've gotten at least 4 padded practices under their belt, at least by the time we speak to them. Which wide receivers are starting to emerge? We saw a pass on Saturday. I think it was Dampier going downfield to Creed Whitmore. Is he one of the top guys? I want to know which receivers are standing out. But for you, what are you looking for in spring ball?
You nailed it 100%. In my view, the biggest obstacle for a Big 12 championship is the talent / production of the wide receiver room, JT. Mm-hmm. And so it's a massive question mark. There's talent there.
Yeah.
But like, are they going to show out and are they going to produce? Can we get the big play ability from this wide receiver room that we're going to need to compete for a Big 12 championship? Okay. Mm-hmm. So that's the big idea here is wide receiver is the most pressing position group. And in spring and going into the football year, it's just going to be that way. And I think that from the chatter, Ryan Davis is having a pretty good spring camp thus far. So you've got guys
the chemistry
like Ryan
with Devin Dampier from last year too. So that does make sense.
Absolutely. And you've got Creed Whitmore, like you said, you got Otto Tia. You've also got Zacharias Williams. So you've got 4 and Zipper. So you've got 5 guys right there that are somewhat proven, at least like different levels of provenness and everything. But like, do we have a number 1 receiver that's going to make plays at the Big 12 level? That's the question mark. We need production. We need big playability. Dampier can get out of stuff. He's a magician, but can he launch the ball and deliver kill shots on like a 67-yard touchdown? We need that type of explosiveness at Utah. We've been lacking it for a couple of years now. We need it to compete for a Big 12 championship. Wide receiver is the answer, 100%.
Justin Stevenson, another guy I'm kind of keeping an eye on. Wyoming. We haven't heard a ton about him, but did produce at the Mountain West level. So is he ready for that jump up? Maybe it takes a year. Time will tell. But excited to have Utah football back, even if it's in spring capacity. Would rather it be spring ball than no football at all. So still look forward to watching it and see how it all plays out. Philip, if people want more, especially in the conference realignment department, where do they need to head over to?
Yeah, College Football Mafia is the channel that I'm on. Have videos, WildUte University, that are produced, conference realignment-based, brand-based, financial analysis. That's my background stuff. I'm a super uber nerd with that kind of stuff. Love college football talk, news, realignment. College Football Mafia is your place.
Philip, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, JT.
That's going to do it for today's Locked On Utes. We'll be back tomorrow reacting to the latest from what the media saw during spring ball. We'll have you covered on Locked On Utes. Hope you'll join us tomorrow.